How is it that when a celebrity gets shot in front of his armed security, the security doesn't fire back? Why did
Right.
King Von, at the last minute, decide to go to the lounge he would eventually be killed at when it wasn't part of the original plan? Why was
Right.
the man he attacked seemingly caught off guard despite walking right past King Von's entourage? And did NBA Youngboy really tell Von that when he killed him, he would show the world his body?
Hey, ask about YB.
You talking about the voice message that YB sent
Oh, yeah.
The man said,
You already know. I think it was a setup, bro.
I kill you, I'ma show the world
I don't care what nobody talking about.
your body. When I kill you, I'ma show the world. I said, man, who is that? He said, man, that's the nigga young boy.
Now, for the past 5 years, the question of what happened to King Von seemed pretty cut and dry. Rappers die all the time, and this event happened to be caught on camera, and it seemed pretty clear. He punched a man in a stand your ground state, and he lost his life for it. Von had made a statement, as well as people in his entourage, that he wasn't cool with NBA Youngboy or any of his associates. So how did Von and Youngboy's associate end up at the same hookah lounge on the same night at the same time? One group had just come from a nightclub, and the other group had just come from a video shoot. Could it have really been a coincidence that they crossed paths? I'm sure as many of you have seen recently, Vonnie, a very strange associate of the whole OTF camp, his father has recently come out with several allegations. All
Snitching
after
on
a
him.
leaked phone call where Vonnie was seemingly admitting that he was going to take a plea deal and make
If you haven't watched my video on that, go watch that.
sure that he got less time than Lil Durk and the other guys on the Lil Pad murder from Beverly Hills. Now, Vonnie's father has made some very heinous accusations, but the fact that it comes from his own father, I can't just dismiss it
It's
as all
different.
lies, especially since he himself explains that the main factor behind him airing out all of this business is money, which, although petty, is very believable. Vonnie, a man from Detroit, whose only connection with these gang members out of Chicago is that his father was close friends with King Von's father. But Von's father has been dead since 2005, nearly 20 years
Dang.
before Von died. But for some reason, Vonnie had weaseled his way in between two of the biggest artists coming into 2020. He's seen in several videos carrying the money and making big purchases for both Lil Durk and King Von, a man who's not even from Chicago. And in the immediate aftermath of Von's death, several allegations.
What does anybody know about Vonnie? Like, what is it with this guy? Like, why was he their money handler, and where's he from?
Came out that people close to him were stealing from him, such as security footage showing men seemingly running from his home carrying items that they didn't come in with, and then there was talk of money missing out of the safety deposit boxes. And Vonnie's father claims that at least the safety deposit box was his son's doing. Now, Vonnie's father claims that Lil Tim, the man who is credited with shooting King Von after he attacked Quando Rondo, was paid months before the incident even took place. But is he telling the truth? He claims that his son is the reason for the entire hookah lounge incident where Von attacked Quando Rondo and ended up getting shot. Just based on how the people around Von spoke of him, it appears that Von was a very predictable guy. Even before he was a superstar in Chicago, it was pretty much known that if he said he was going to do something
I didn't even know Vaughn had, like, chin hair, bro. What the heck? That looks weird.
to you when he caught you, that's exactly what was going to happen. And he made it clear, as well as an associate of his, Lil Reese, that when he caught Quando Rondo, something was going to happen. The plan after they left the first club was for everybody to go back to the Airbnb they had in Atlanta. But of course, that's not what happened. Vonnie's father is somehow insinuating that Vonnie is the reason that Von rerouted his caravan to the Monaco Hookah Lounge. So, just looking at it from the perspective of somebody that was trying to set up a murder. Now, no.
They was saying he was asleep too, so I'm thinking like Von sleeping and they just switched the location and like they woke him up like, hey, we at blah blah blah, and then he like, damn, I thought we was going here, but all right, and then he just, you feel me? That's what I'm trying to like put situations together in my head, bro, like a story for real, or a show. Make it make sense, you feel me?
One that Georgia is a stand your ground state, and Von being a hothead, having him pull up to the location of someone that he says he's going to attack when he sees them, seems like the perfect bait to get him shot. But what would have been the reason for anyone wanting Von dead? The first person that was blamed in any kind of conspiracy for this was Lil Durk, who, at the time, was not legally allowed to be around King Von due to a case that they had involving an attempted murder and a robbery. And mysteriously, Lil Durk seemed to go live at the same time that King Von was getting shot. Now, I've seen at least one guy, King AK-47, say that this
Yeah, it's. Hold up, I'm gonna just let him say it.
looked like something that was going to establish an alibi. Now, the
Literally.
question is, why did Lil Durk have Vonnie around him? For him to get such a prominent position, despite not knowing any of them, it seems like some agreement would have had to been made, especially with Lil Durk, since he was seen carrying money for Lil Durk, and he is the alleged money man on the murder for hire case that Durk is facing right now. So, the events at the Monaco Hookah Lounge. I was completely unaware that Von even had armed security there because the only 3 people that were reported to have fired back were Louis, Slutty, and BJ.
He ain't going nowhere. I saw him shoot.
Louis and
There's body cam footage of this night. Oh yeah, we watching that for sure. What, bro?
Slutty ended up being shot by undercover cops who were sitting at the scene watching the entire thing, which is also very suspicious.
Undercover cops watching the whole thing. Bro, it's too much going on in this situation. Like, there's too much going on, bro.
And one of Von's associates can even be heard telling Von's security, kill him, as if he was wondering why the security guard had done nothing. And Vonnie, who again
You
is
could
not
tell
even
he's really like listen to how he's no men do not scream at the top of their lungs like that unless they're like fear their life, dumb, mad, or you playing basketball or something, or you on the game or something, bro. Like, listen to him, bro.
security, kill him, as if he was wondering why the security guard had done nothing. And
Bro, security got paid a little extra to not kill the shooters, question mark, and stay quiet, question mark.
Vonnie, who again is not even from Chicago, couldn't have had a close bond with any of them, as out of everything his father said, that is the most likely, that he was only there for money. And being the money man, he would probably know how easy it would be for him to steal money out of King Von's security deposit boxes, as he had probably made several trips to the bank with King Von depositing his money. And regardless of if you believe that King Von was some...
So where is Vonnie from? And somebody please, I'm asking this again. Why was Vonnie the money man? Why? Why him? Why not be your own money man? Why can't you handle your own money?
type of serial killer or not, it's more than likely that he would have been serving 25 to life for something had he still been alive today. And everyone around him knew this. The FBI say he was their lead suspect in a murder from 2014, and as I said, one of Lil Durk's lawyers said on the Atlanta News that he will be the one.
Like, if you do a crime, you will never get away with it, bro. He died in 2020, and news comes out that if he was still alive, he would have been arrested for a case 6 years earlier. Like, you will never get away with it, bro. Don't do no crimes, bro. Just find something you passionate about if you can afford it, and make that your income, or get a job, bro. Get a job.
Charged in the Atlanta case had he still been alive, not Lil Durk. So somebody that wasn't his friend in the first place, and especially someone that was heartless, would have no problem getting him out the way for a quick come up. And the allegation of him being told that when he was killed, they were going to show the world his body just can't be a coincidence. Only certain people are allowed in a room to take a picture like that. So for someone to jeopardize their job and likely freedom, there had to be some type of money involved. Nobody just did this for fun. Now, I know you guys thought that we were already talking about conspiracy theories, but we still haven't gotten to the actual conspiracy theory pushed by Vonnie's father. Now, in the interviews he did with both Trench's News and DJ Academics, Vonnie's father said two things
3%, I can make it.
Honestly, it's hard to know if he's saying this from what he actually witnessed, or if he's just been reading and watching conspiracy theories and he might think he's connecting the dots himself. But he says that in his talks with King Von, he says that King Von told him that he knew he only had 3 or 4 years to do his music. And he did not fully elaborate on that, but he says that King Von had some type of meeting.
Imagine saying something like that to your like your uncle type figure, bro. Like, I'd be so, I'd just look at you like, huh? like these, but really like trying to figure out what you talking about for real though. You feel me?
And after this meeting, King Von kind of told him that he knew that he had a limited amount of time. And not only did he connect the music industry with Israel, but he also connected NBA YoungBoy's involvement with YoungBoy's subsequent pardon that he received from Donald Trump. Now listen, I am always open to a conspiracy theory, and I'm definitely always open to hear a testimony from somebody who was around a certain situation. But if I'm being honest, I don't see much of a connection between King Von and NBA YoungBoy's pardon. Do I think it was strange that YB was pardoned by the President of the United States, who's likely never even heard of him? Yes, I think that was...
I feel like that pardon was just a political move for Trump, but who knows? I don't know, man.
Very strange, and I do think there was some type of agenda behind that pardon. And like I said, the autopsy picture is a very strange thing to come out. Now, I've seen a gang member die and one of his ops with a connection at the hospital have an autopsy picture come out. But that doesn't mean it's something that happens often, and it definitely doesn't mean that it's something that somebody can easily come by. Because you have to be a certain staff member to even get in a room like that. So what would make Wavani's father saying true? Well, I know he's not getting paid much to go on these interviews and say the things that he's saying. When he speaks, he genuinely sounds like he's speaking out of remorse. That he's had to sit by and watch something. Because he and Von's father were close friends, which is why many people thought that Vonnie was King Von's cousin, but they are in fact not related. So I'm going to stand by that there has to be some truth.
But even thinking about it from Vonnie's perspective, bro, King Von is like, that's his cousin, pretty much. Cousin. I guess their parents being close doesn't mean that they had to be close, but weren't they friends as kids, or am I wrong?
And what Vonnie's father is saying. And I heard the phone call where Vonnie was saying that he wants to get less time than Lil Durk, which is a guy that let him handle millions of dollars. So at the very least, we can prove that Vonnie is a slimy character, and that accusing him of
super slimy
up anybody would not be out of the ordinary for him. So in the end, it's clear that King Von didn't just die because he attacked someone in a stand your ground state. A witness on the scene who doesn't have any social media presence, just some random guy that was caught on a police body cam, even said that it looked like a setup.
These motherfuckers just pulled up. They got his blind jumping out the car. They knew it was set up before they got down.
And although King Von could have avoided this entire...
Like you see little bits and pieces of like important information like that, and you expect me to believe it wasn't a setup for real, bro. Like, that's key information right there. Like, a random dude who I'm sure was outside when everything went down just said this.
Even said that it looked like a setup.
These motherfuckers just pulled up. They got his blind jumping out the car. They knew it was set up before they got down.
And although King Von could have avoided this entire...
He not gaining nothing from that, bro. Like, you expect me to not believe? You expect me to not think it's a setup for real?
Situation himself might not be in a hothead. I do believe that somewhere, somebody was pulling strings to make sure things went exactly how they went. But that's all I got for today, man. And I'll see you next time.
Y'all boys be safe.